Assalamualaikum everyone, good day. My name is Mohd Fadhli Shah. I'm from FSSK UKM. Together with my co-author Nadhirah, who is from USM, we will be presenting our research entitled "The Home is Still Where the Heart Is, Reaffirming the Sense of Place in Students Staying at Home During Covid-19." The year 2020 has been a chaotic and dreadful year for everyone around the world because of the spreading of the pandemic Covid-19 and because of the increasing number of positive cases and also the implementation of lockdown and restrictive movements. Students in universities around the world and especially in Malaysia are now being forced to adapt to a new norm of learning using online distance learning (ODL) while being at home throughout the pandemic situation. And because of the uncertainty of when the pandemic is resolved and also with the adaptation of the new approach of learning and the situation at home right now, this has certainly caused struggles and challenges to the students, especially in them understanding and also making sense of the environment at home to be meaningful to them. So because students are now at home learning and adapting to the new norm, many students are reported to become very anxious with their learning while being at home. So in a study by Farida 2020, she found that there are many anxiety factors found among students, which include somatic anxiety, cognitive and avoidance behavior. And also in other studies by Putra 2020, he also found that students are actually going through a hard times when it comes to learning, and because there are lack of learning resources and lack of support from the parents. And in another study by Majumdar et al. 2020, he reported that because of students staying at home, that has actually resulted in a poor health condition, disruptive of daily life routine, excessive screen time and also anxiety and isolation. All this because students are currently at home. Therefore, because students are actually being forced to stay at home during the pandemic without any early briefing or information, the struggle of understanding and establishing the relationship between the individual with the home as their place may have actually resulted in some changeness or a shift from the previous lifestyle to the new norm that we are actually practicing nowadays. For this research, we are actually looking at the concept of sense of place in investigating the purpose of our research. So the sense of place actually refers to the objective and subjective aspects combined, and it is closely related to people's satisfaction for a space with regards to its ability to fit human needs. So a sense of place is actually an emotional bonding or relationship that an individual has towards a place and how the place actually fits the requirement of the individual's objective or their needs. And thus it makes the sense of place as a vital establishment in order to determine humans' well-being and state of mind and also behavior, because it relates closely to the significant impact on people's feeling, thinking and their understanding of being in that situation. Okay, so in this diagram we have actually illustrate the conceptual framework for our research. So the sense of place actually is a construction of three sub-elements, which is first the place identity, the second one is place attachment, and the third one is place dependence. So all of these sets actually contributes to the formation of sense of place. So for our study, we will be analyzing and investigating each of these subset, place attachment, place identity and place dependence, and see how it contributes to the formation of sense of place, because we believe that the existence of a sense of place will actually influence or affect the behavior of the person within that place. So it is the place-based behavior. And also we believe that it is a two-way, meaning that the behavior affects the sense of place, and the sense of place is also affecting the behavior. For our problem statement of this research, with the implementation of staying at home during the pandemic COVID-19, students are actually facing the new norm of lifestyle, which includes juggling between being a student and also fulfilling their responsibility at home as a child, as a brother, a sister, which results in a new perceptions towards their home as a sense of place. Thus, our research aim is to investigate the reaffirming of the sense of place in university students during their stay-at-home period of COVID-19. So for our research method, we have decided to use the questionnaire that was used by Jorgensen and Stedman 2001, which is a questionnaire that focuses on the sense of place. So since we are looking at the university students, so we have actually distributed the questionnaire randomly to university students around Malaysia, and the total number of feedbacks that we got was 57 participants that were used in this research, and then it was analyzed using SPSS. The instrument tool that was used for our research is the Sense of Place questionnaire, taken and adopted from Jorgensen and Stedman 2001. The questionnaire consists of 12 items, and the questionnaire touches on all three subsets of sense of place, which is the place attachment, questions pertaining to their emotions, feelings of the place, on place identity, which actually covers the area of representation and how the place represents the self, and lastly the place dependence, which actually covers or focus on the functionality of the place and how it relates to the students' needs and objectives. And the questionnaire used 7 Likert type questionnaire, ranging from strongly agree to strongly disagree. The finding of our research has been simplified so that it will be easier for everyone to understand. So what we have done is we have grouped the answers of our participants into 2 categories. So for those who answered agree, somewhat agree, strongly agree, we have actually clustered them together as positive response. And for those who have answered disagree, somewhat disagree, strongly disagree, we have clustered them as negative response. So if we look at the first subset of sense of place, which covers place attachment, when asked to the participants whether the home makes them feel relaxed, happy, and also whether the home is one of the favorite place to be in, majority of the participants actually responded positively to the questions, indicating a strong attachment to the place. And in the fourth question, when asked I won't miss this place when it doesn't longer exist, majority of the participants actually gave negative response towards the questions. So looking back as a whole, the majority of our participants actually recorded a very strong positive attachment towards home as their place. Next, we move on to the second subset of the questionnaire, which is place identity. When we look at item 5, 7 and 8, when asked whether home reflects the type of person that they are, whether they can really be themselves when they are at home, and whether home is a reflection of themselves, majority of the participants gave positive response. However, looking at item number 6, when asked whether home says very little about me, 38.5% of participants gave positive response. But when we look at individual score for item number 6, participant who answered neutral, which is the middle answer, had the highest percentage, which is 28.1%. So this is rather interesting to see how participants actually are in the middle of agree and disagree. So it can be either the students both agree and disagree with the item number 6, or they are in between the two sides of respond. Okay, the last subset of the questionnaire deals with place dependence, and overall majority of the participants actually gave positive response to all the questions that are on place dependence. However, looking at item 9, 11 and 12, questions on how home meets their needs better than other places, how home is a good place to do things that they like to do, and as far as they are concerned, there are better places to be than home. When looking at the individual scores, participants who answered neutral in item 9, 11 and 12 are actually the highest compared to other individual scores. So this shows that when it comes to place dependence, participants are actually on the fence, and they are contemplating between agree and disagree to the item. So this may be caused by different objectives and different needs that individuals has when it comes to the place and the functionality of the place towards their needs. For the discussion part of our research, our findings indicate that overall the university students have a sense of place when it comes to using home as their place during the Covid-19 stay-at-home period. They identified the home to be a strong attachment of feelings and emotions, as they identified home as a place of relax, enjoy, and also they will miss the place when it is gone, and also the fact that they can be free and be themselves when they're at home shows that they are actually having a strong attachment to the place. However, at the same time, they also agree that there are other places that are better than home, which give them a purpose for them to go out and venture for other places. However, we believe that the contributing factor that a place becoming attached to an individual is mostly because of the wide variety of experiences that students have actually formed throughout the years of staying at home. Thus, while staying at home, students are actually given the chance to strengthen and reaffirm their attachment with the home, and as they go on, they create more experiences and moments inside their home surrounding and environment, which actually helps to strengthen their sense of place at the same time. However, to conclude that home is the one and only place that students are attached the most in terms of emotionally and physically is rather complex to say. This is based on our findings for questions 6, 9, 11 and 12. They may have a strong bonding with the place. They may refer a home as a sense of place, but it does not stop them from wanting to discover other places where they will be creating other meaningful discoveries there. So based on this, we can support from previous research, especially by Shamai et al. 2012, which refers sense of place with objective and subjective aspects and closely related to people's satisfaction for a place with regards to ability to fit human needs. So it all depends on how the individuals react and use the place towards their needs and objective. And also previous studies also identified that there are For the conclusion of our research, we believe that a strong establishment of meaningful and emotional bonding of individual with their place will ensure a very long lasting and affirmative sense of place. So when you have a very strong sense of place in you, that is rooted in you, it will display a more personal attachment, vivid identity, and also a strong dependence between the individual and the place. So this is helpful in studies related to self-identity, human well-being, psychogeography, and diasporic studies, to name a few. And besides that, our findings can actually help in psychogeography studies, which actually focus on how the mind and the behavior of an individual is actually influenced and affected by the spatial surrounding and the place that a person is in. And besides that, with the current situation, we believe our findings is also helpful in contributing to the pool of research that studies on how individuals are affected in pandemic situations such as Covid-19. And lastly, future studies should also focus on how the sense of place may impact and bring positive or negative consequences towards the cognitive and also behavioral aspects of individuals. And besides that, because there are many external factors that relates to the formation of sense of place, we also recommend future studies to actually investigate these external factors to have a further understanding and also maximize the use of a sense of place.